Strange New Worlds Season 3 will debut at the 2025 Tribeca Festival on June 14th. We also finally have the official release date, and 4 massive mysteries that have been building since episode 1 are about to get their answers. These revelations will completely rewrite Star Trek canon as we know it. Tribeca audiences will see everything before Trek fans get their chance. Something strange happens when you put Anson Mount, Ethan Peck, and the Strange New Worlds creative team in a room full of film critics and industry professionals who couldn't care less about preserving your favorite theories. They talk, they reveal things. They answer questions that would never get asked at a fan convention because everyone there already knows too much. The post-screening conversation features Mount, Peck, Celia Rose Gooding, Babs Olus-Markham, Carol Kane, and executive producers Alex Kurtzman, Akiva Goldsman, and Henry Alonso Myers. Film critics and industry professionals will ask different questions than Trek fans. The Tribeca audience will see Season 3's opener cold. No Reddit threads, no deep dives into beta canon. They'll experience the Gorn resolution, the new villain, and whatever genre-bending experiments the show has planned without the baggage of expectation. Their questions won't be about Easter eggs or continuity, they will be about story, character, and meaning. When someone asks why Pike makes a peculiar choice or how the new villain compares to previous Trek antagonists, the answers might accidentally reveal everything we've been guessing about. The producers won't be playing to fan theories, they will be explaining their creative decisions to people who judge stories on their own metrics. Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3 officially launches Thursday, July 17th, 2025 on Paramount+. The season opens with a 2-episode premiere, immediately throwing us back into the chaos left by Season 2's ending. The writers haven't been subtle about building towards revelations that will fundamentally change how we understand the entire Star Trek universe. Weekly episodes drop every Thursday through September 11th, creating a summer-long event that demands attention. 10 episodes to resolve years of careful setup. 10 episodes to answer questions most of us didn't even realize they should be asking. Carol Marcus is pregnant with Kirk's son during Strange New Worlds timeline. Kirk mentioning his pregnant girlfriend Carol to La'an wasn't casual conversation. It was the sound of decades of Star Trek history being rewritten in real time. Dr. Carol Marcus, the woman who will create Project Genesis and raise Kirk's son David, is carrying that child right now while Kirk serves under Pike. This revelation changes everything we thought we knew about Kirk's character development. He's not the carefree officer climbing ranks towards his destined captaincy. He is a man navigating impending fatherhood while learning command from one of Starfleet's legends. Every decision Pike makes, every lesson he teaches, every crisis they face together is shaping not just Kirk the officer, but Kirk the father. The emotional weight extends beyond Kirk himself. La'an's feelings for him take on tragic dimensions when she realizes she's not just competing with another woman, but with a family legacy that's already written in stone. She knows how this story ends, with Carol and David as footnotes in Kirk's biography, casualties of his commitment to Starfleet. Carol's pregnancy establishes a timeline for David Marcus's birth during Kirk's service under Pike. This means Kirk will experience fatherhood while still learning command from one of Starfleet's greatest captains. The responsibilities of parenthood will influence every choice he makes during his most formative years as an officer. The timing creates a fascinating parallel between Pike and Kirk. Pike mentors a future captain, while that captain simultaneously learns to be a father. The lessons about leadership, sacrifice, and duty that Pike imparts take on deeper meaning when viewed through the lens of Kirk's divided loyalties between Starfleet and family. Spock's prison break will force Spock to confront his greatest fear. Spock's imprisonment under the name Xaverius isn't just a clever callback to Star Trek V, it's a ticking time bomb planted in the heart of Spock's character development. The Vulcan heretic who rejected logic for emotional enlightenment represents everything Spock fears about his own dual nature, and his inevitable return will force confrontations that could shatter the philosophical foundation of Vulcan culture. Captain Angel's desperate attempt to free Cyborg in the Serene Squall revealed the depth of his influence. Someone imprisoned and supposedly powerless still commands such loyalty that followers will hijack Federation starships to reach him. That level of devotion doesn't come from simple criminal activity. It stems from revolutionary ideas that threaten the very structure of Vulcan society. T'Pring's role of overseer of Cyborg's prison creates a conflict that extends far beyond personal relationships. She's caught between the duty to maintain Vulcan order and her growing understanding understanding of Spock's struggles with his own emotions. When Cyborg challenges the logic that defines her world, T'Pring will have to choose between the traditions that shaped her and the love that's changing her. The philosophical battle between Cyborg's emotional awakening and traditional Vulcan logic represents a fundamental question about the future of an entire species. As the first son of Ambassador Sarek and Vulcan princess, Cyborg carries legitimate claim to influence over Vulcan society. His rejection of pure logic in favor of emotional enlightenment stands in direct opposition to everything Spock struggles with regarding his own half-human nature. Spock has spent his entire life trying to suppress his human emotions in favor of Vulcan logic. Cyborg represents the opposite path by embracing emotion and rejecting the logical constraints that define Vulcan culture. When these two brothers finally confront each other, the philosophical debate won't just be about personal choice, but it will be about the fundamental nature of what it means to be Vulcan. Lorne's temporal confession may have already broken reality. Lorne's decision to tell Kirk about his alternate timeline counterpart violated every principle of temporal mechanics and might have doomed the universe in the process. Agent Yumilei's warning in Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow wasn't gentle guidance. It was an explicit threat about what happens when someone breaks the fundamental rules that keeps reality stable. The Department of Temporal Investigations exists because time travel creates paradoxes that could unravel existence itself. Their concern about Lorne's knowledge wasn't theatrical. It was based on documented cases where small changes cascaded into universal catastrophe. Her confession to Kirk about his other self might seem like a moment of emotional honesty, but it represents a temporal violation that could destroy everything. Lorne chose love over law, human connection over cosmic responsibility, and that choice, made in desperate grief over losing the man she loved in another timeline, may have consequences that extend far beyond her personal relationships. The ripple effects of her decision could already be spreading through the timeline, changing events in ways no one will recognize until it's too late. The weight of her experiences in the alternate timeline, particularly losing the man she loved, proved too much to bear alone. In a moment of emotional vulnerability, Lorne broke her sworn oath and revealed forbidden knowledge. Her decision to change her paradigm by sharing what she experienced directly contradicts her training as a Starfleet security chief. Christina Chong's portrayal of Lorne has shown us a character learning to be human after years of trauma. Her decision to confide in Kirk was consistent with the growth towards emotional openness, but growth sometimes comes with terrible prices. The choice prioritized emotional healing over duty, a deeply human decision that nevertheless carries severe consequences. Dr. M'Benga murdered a war criminal, and the entire crew helped cover it up. Dr. Joseph M'Benga didn't kill Ambassador Ra in self-defense. He executed a war criminal and convinced his crew to become accessories to the murder. The Butcher of Jagol died in sickbay not because he posed an immediate threat, but because M'Benga decided that some forms of justice can't wait for proper channels. M'Benga's past as a covert operative during the Klingon War never truly ended. His identity as a Starfleet assassin, a role kept buried beneath his quiet professionalism as a doctor, returned to the surface when Ambassador Ra boarded the Enterprise under a diplomatic mission. While the public viewed Ra's deflection as a gesture of peace, M'Benga saw only a war criminal hiding behind a polished uniform. The confrontation in sickbay wasn't spontaneous. It was the result of days of psychological pressure, restrained hatred, and moral conflict. When violence erupted, M'Benga delivered a fatal blow with precision that revealed his specialized training. The official story stated self-defense, but the reality was calculated execution. Nurse Christine Chappell's decision to corroborate the self-defense story wasn't just loyalty to a colleague, it was recognition that some forms of justice exist outside Starfleet regulations. Two veterans of the same war made a calculated decision to protect each other from consequences they deemed unjust. They looked at a war criminal who had rebranded himself as a Federation ally and decided that his diplomatic immunity was worth less than the lives he destroyed. Captain Pike's suspicious acceptance of their story reveals the moral complexity that defines the best Star Trek characters. He knows the official report doesn't withstand scrutiny, but he also understands that some wounds never heal and some justice can't wait for bureaucracy. His decision to let the matter rest wasn't weakness. It was recognition that the ideas of Starfleet sometimes conflict with the realities of survival. The Gorn crisis will test every character beyond their breaking point. Season 3 opens with the Enterprise crew facing the consequences of their Gorn encounter. encounter. But the real enemy isn't the aliens. It's the way Crisis reveals the cracks in everything they've built together. All the secrets, lies, and moral compromises that have been accumulating since the first episode are about to collide at the worst possible moment. The conflict isn't just with an external enemy. The real battle unfolds within the walls of the Enterprise, where mistrust and trauma threaten to tear the crew apart from within. As the Gorn loom large, so do the fractures within the team. Fractured alliances, hidden secrets, and unresolved tensions ready to ignite when survival becomes the only priority. The Gorn force every character to confront not just physical danger, but the fundamental question of what they are willing to sacrifice to survive. When Kirk's personal life threatens his duty, when Spock's family crisis undermines his logic, when Lana's temporal violation catches up with her, when Mbenga's murder comes to light, all of these individual breaking points happen simultaneously, while an external threat demands perfect cooperation. Season 3 explores what happens when good people are pushed beyond their moral limits. The heroes we thought we knew are about to become people we might not recognize, and the consequences of that transformation will echo through every future Trek story. Some relationships will be destroyed, some characters will be fundamentally changed, some principles will be abandoned in favor of survival.